I have a wife and a 1-year-old at home, and I need to do everything I can to come home safely at the end of every day.
We care about your safety. At Gilbane, we care about your safety and your ability to leave work in the same condition you arrived. Whether you are working for yourself or your family, Gilbane wants you to be a part of our incident and injury-free job site culture.
When I think of family, I think of all the people that not only work for Gilbane, but work on our job sites. The tradespeople, the suppliers who bring materials to the site every day. So an injury to anyone is an injury to a part of our family.
At Gilbane, caring is our #1 value. Our concern for others drives everything that we do and has helped us become an industry leader in safety. In fact, more than 90% of our project teams have 0 lost time or recordable injuries. Our mandatory requirement for fall protection, for example, above 6 feet, has saved more than 20 lives in the last few years. But we also know that we can always improve. And one of the ways that we're doing that is through the implementation of our non-negotiables. You've obviously seen the signs when you enter our job sites. We require everyone on our job sites and projects to wear full protective gear, including protective-toed boots and cut-proof gloves. Without a doubt, these measures are preventing injuries, and that's our ultimate goal. Thank you for joining us on our safety journey and playing a vital part, an active part, in keeping everyone on our team safe.
At Gilbane, we truly care about your safety. If you have any questions whatsoever with regards to your safety or the safety of anybody else, please ask us, and we will be sure to give you a correct answer. We all want to watch out for each other.
In order to meet our goal of an incident and injury-free environment, Gilbane has a safety policy that often exceeds OSHA safety standards. These regulations are set up by the federal government, and we encourage you to read and understand the rules set up for your trade. The foundation of a good safety system is the policies, the means and methods for performing work on our project sites safely. Every Gilbane site has a project safety plan developed by the project manager, who then communicates that plan to all our subcontractors, partners, and each of you. Gilbane uses advanced technology tools as well as personal risk assessments to understand the risks you face and eliminate them before accidents can happen. If you see something unsafe, speak up and correct it immediately. Watching this video is part of your Gilbane safety training. Another is conducting a job hazards analysis and reviewing controls with your team at the start of the workday. Some projects have special safety requirements. Your project manager or Gilbane safety manager will explain those to you. We want you to participate and help us know what will make your job better, safer, and more comfortable. One of the ways Gilbane exceeds OSHA standards is our job site non-negotiables. These guidelines include the use of full personal protective equipment and are designed to avoid common injuries to the hands, feet, eyes, and more. Gilbane believes in protecting ourselves from head to toe. We do that by wearing the right PPE for our trades. It starts here with a hard hat, with the bill facing forward, or you may have a cast helmet. Next is your eyes. Glasses and other appropriate shields are a must on Gilbane project sites. If you wear glasses, you can either order prescription safety glasses with side shields or safety glasses that fit comfortably over your frames. On a construction site, it is easy to get scraped and scratched. Wear shirts with sleeves, and long pants to protect your legs are a must. Hand injuries are the most common, and you can avoid a lot of them by wearing your level 4 cut-proof gloves at all times. Steel-toed boots with substantial soles are required on all our job sites to protect your feet from a variety of hazards. Some trades require additional protective gear for welding, for instance. If you are doing a job that involves dust or fumes, you need to get a respirator or other protection. If you need to wear a respirator for your job, it is important that you are medically fit and understand how to use the respirator properly. If you have any questions about your personal protective equipment, you can contact your supervisor or Gilbane's safety manager.
Another tool that we use is what is called the pre-task planning, or the STA. This tool is used to ensure that before beginning work on our job site, you understand the hazards associated with the job, the tools that are going to be used, and any steps to mitigate those hazards. And as a group, with the help of your foreman, you're able to discuss these important steps in order to maintain a safe job every single day. Another important element to ensure that you keep yourself safe throughout the day is a personal safety assessment, or labeled PSA. It just allows you to take 10 seconds to review what is going on around you at any one time and identify if there's any hazards associated with your work.
We demand that everyone on our team wear fall protection equipment anytime they work above 6 feet. Some of the most serious injuries on project sites occur from falls, and everyone is at risk. We care about you and require that you wear a safety harness and are properly tied off anytime you work above 6 feet. We also require guardrails above any work higher than 6 feet. Please check guardrails regularly. Also, make sure scaffolding is secure and includes guardrails. At Gilbane, we prefer using ladders only as a last resort. Regardless of what method you use to access height, you must always inspect your equipment. Cover and mark all floor holes. One of the most common causes of falls is a messy work site. It is easy to trip over debris on the ground. Be sure to keep your site clean, and remember, we all need to look out for each other. If you see unsafe conditions, report them to your manager or the Gilbane safety manager. It is important to maintain electrical tools to ensure they are safe. Inspect the cords regularly. Remove faulty cords and equipment from the site. Suspend cords overhead whenever possible. Use ground fault on all circuits, and remember, the only people who are permitted to access breaker boxes are licensed electricians. Confined spaces can be very dangerous, and that's why you will want to take special care to follow all the safety requirements for working in confined spaces. Clearly mark your area and wear proper protective equipment. Excavations are a special hazard, and that's why we insist that all excavations and areas around them be reviewed daily by a trained inspector. Cranes also pose a danger. Always look overhead for loads. To ensure the safety of those on site as well as the public, before erecting, jumping, or hoisting with a crane, follow Gilbane's safety requirements. Fire is another danger that we must recognize. When you are doing hot work, get a permit and have a fire extinguisher and post a trained fire watch. Many of the chemicals used on job sites can be hazardous if not used properly. In the Gilbane office, you will find safety data sheets on all the chemicals being used on your job site. You can review the data sheet on any chemical you will be working with by asking your supervisor. All hazardous materials are clearly labeled, but it is important for you to get familiar with the warnings. The label and the SDS will tell you what precautions to take and what protective gear to wear, like suits, respirators, or goggles. Be sure to follow the instructions carefully. If you open a container and find the safety data sheet inside, be sure to get it to your supervisor. Each morning, Gilbane helps our teams get ready for their day with Stretch and Flex. Just like athletes stretch before a game, you are an industrial athlete and rely on your body to earn a livelihood. Everyone on our team is also urged to practice proper lifting and carrying techniques. Whether on the job or at home, proper lifting eliminates injuries. Back injuries might seem sudden, but chances are good that it developed from putting the body at risk over time. Be sure to lift with your head up and back straight. Use your legs and abdominal muscles to carry the load and keep the weight close to your body. Practice good lifting techniques no matter where you are. There is no doubt that working under the influence of drugs and alcohol puts you and others at risk. Having an alcoholic beverage at lunch or during a break will affect your ability to work safely and can put others in danger. That's why all of our teams have a drug testing policy administered by the owner, subcontractor, or Gilbane. Gilbane does not tolerate harassment or violence of any kind while on this job site. If you have any questions regarding these policies or what to do if you encounter harassment or violence, please contact your supervisor. Gilbane knows that a clean site is a safe site, and everyone must do their part to keep work areas free of debris and other hazards. Remember, falls are commonly caused by debris on the ground. Do your part. Clean your work area and make sure no one can trip and fall. While no one expects to be injured on this job site, should it happen, there are steps to follow. If you are injured, no matter how slightly, report your injury at the Gilbane office. Gilbane has a return to work policy. If you are injured and can't do your usual work, we'll find other work for you that won't worsen your injury but will help the team. If you witness an emergency, dial 911 and report the emergency to the Gilbane team. In the case of any other type of an emergency, like a weather event, Gilbane will sound the evacuation alarm. Clear the area immediately and report to your supervisor. If Gilbane believes you are missing, we will send in rescue crews, so be sure to check in with your supervisor and don't endanger the life of a rescuer. Gilbane cares about your safety, and we give you permission to talk to anyone at Gilbane about safety or your safety concerns at any time. We also want your permission to be able to speak with you about safety, especially if we see you doing something that might injure you or you are doing something unsafe that we can correct.
Security is very important on a project site or in the office. And as we've seen, it's all too common today, active shooter events. They're becoming more frequent. What would you do if you encountered an active shooter in an office? Well, number one, we recommend run. Get out. Go to safety. Get out as quickly as you can. Number two, if you can't get out, find a room where you can be safe. When you get in that room, shut off the lights. Find something you can use as a weapon if you had to fight, because your last resort is to do just that, to fight. It's only as your last resort. John, what would you recommend on a project site?
Well, if you encounter an active shooter on a project site, if the shots are above you, exit the building as quickly as possible, go down the block, find a safe location out of the line of fire, and call 911. If the shots come from below you, go to a higher floor, find cover and containment, turn off your cell phone, and then in the event we need to defend ourselves against the active shooter, find a weapon. Could be a piece of rebar, could be a 2x4, could be a brick, something to defend yourself, and then wait for the police to respond. But never use the elevator or the hoist unless it's an absolute last resort.
And so what do you do when the police arrive? Raise your hands. Don't have anything in your hands. You don't want to appear to be the threat.
And don't yell and don't scream, and follow the instructions of the police officers.
That's great. Thank you, John. So, we're here today because Gilbane cares. What would you do if you encounter an active shooter on a project site or in the office? Number one, remember, run. Get away. Number two, hide if you can't get away. Number three, fight, only as a last resort. But most important, number one, run.
As a continuation of the safety orientation program, we will now enroll you in what's called the Short Service Worker Program. The Short Service Worker Program is meant to be a continuation of the safety orientation process. With the help of your foreman, our superintendents, and other job site employees, we will mentor you now in the Gilbane safety procedures.
All right, babe, I'm taking off. I'll see you later. All right, love you, honey. See you later.
Love you. Bye.
All right, bye, little one. Daddy loves you.
Say bye-bye.
Just because we've been on job sites before, don't take safety for granted. That's when accidents happen, when we become complacent and rush to get things done. Please take every effort you can to protect yourself and take the time to worry and look out for your coworkers. The most important thing for Gilbane Building Company is that everyone leaves the job the same way they came.
Hey, honey.